Almost everyone interested in UFOs has heard of the Roswell, New Mexico incident, and almost every reliable source agrees something extraordinary occurred. Yet almost every online source I researched for this video insists there was nothing extraordinary to the incident at all. Two examples of this is the current Wikipedia page for the Roswell incident, as well as Britannica.com. Both describe the incident definitively as a crashed weather balloon. Yet for anyone delving deeper into the events at Roswell, the information, questions, and alleged authentic images are very difficult to discount. In this video, we will recount the incident occurring in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, as well as have a look at images found on the deep web alleging to be authentic. I have taken some of these images and upscaled them using AI-driven upscaling software. This can create some rough artifacting, but in general, greatly improves the original image details. Though it is human nature to be skeptical and dismissive, after upscaling some of these images, I must admit, I do not believe all of them to be fake. By 1947, an incident occurred in the desert just outside of Roswell, New Mexico. The following account of the 1947 UFO incident was taken from public records provided by the International UFO Museum and from the press release for UFO Encounter 1997. On the evening of July 3, 1947, Dan Wilmot, a respected business owner, and his wife were sitting on their front porch when they saw a bright saucer-shaped object with glowing lights moving across the sky between 400 to 500 miles per hour. Dan Wilmot estimated that the unidentified flying object was about 20 to 25 feet across. The flying object appeared from the southeast and disappeared to the northwest. Dan Wilmot reported his unusual sighting to the Roswell Daily Record. In early July, Mac Brazel, the foreman of the J.B. Foster Ranch, rode out to check his sheep after a night of intense thunderstorms. Mac Brazel discovered a large amount of unusual debris scattered across one of the ranch's pastures. Mac Brazel took some pieces of this debris, showed them to some friends and neighbors, and eventually contacted Chavez County Sheriff George Wilcox. Suspecting that the materials described by Mac Brazel might be connected with military operations, Sheriff Wilcox notified authorities at the Roswell Army Airfield for assistance in the matter. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer at the 509th Bomb Group, was involved in the recovery of the wreckage, which was initially transported to Roswell Army Airfield. On July 8th, the Roswell Daily Record's headline story revealed the wreckage of the flying saucer had been recovered from a ranch in the area. When questioned, Major Jesse Marcel disclosed that the wreckage had been flown from New Mexico onto higher headquarters. Colonel William Blanchard, commander of the 509th Bomb Group, issued a press release stating that the wreckage of a crashed disc had been recovered. A second press release was issued from the office of General Roger Ramey, commander of the 8th Air Force of Fort Worthy Army Airfield in Fort Worth, Texas, within hours of the first press release. The second press release rescinded the first press release and claimed that officers of the 509th Bomb Group had incorrectly identified a weather balloon and its radar reflector as a crashed disc. The Ballard Funeral Home in Roswell had a contract to provide ambulance and mortuary services for Roswell Army Airfield. Glenn Dennis, a young mortician who worked for Ballard Funeral Homes, received several phone calls from the mortuary office at the airfield prior to learning of the recovery of the wreckage. Glenn Dennis was asked about the availability of small, hermetically sealed caskets and for his recommendations on the preservation of bodies that had been exposed to the elements for several days. His curiosity aroused, Glenn Dennis visited the base hospital that evening and was forcibly escorted from the building. This behavior only incited Glenn Dennis's curiosity, and he arranged to meet a nurse from the base hospital on the following day in a coffee house. The nurse had been in attendance during autopsies performed on what she quoted as several small non-human bodies. Glendennis kept drawings of aliens that the nurse had sketched on a napkin during their meeting. This meeting was to be their last, and Glendennis could learn no more about the alien bodies as the nurse was abruptly transferred. On July 9th, the Roswell Daily Record revealed that Mac Brazel was so harassed that he became sorry he had ever reported his find to the Chavez County Sheriff. In the following days, virtually every witness to the crash wreckage and the subsequent recovery efforts was either abruptly transferred or seemed to disappear from the face of the earth. This led to suspicions that an extraordinary event was the subject of a deliberate government cover-up. Over the years, books, interviews, and articles from a number of military personnel who had been involved with the incident have added to the suspicions of a deliberate cover-up. In 1979, Jesse Marcel was interviewed regarding his role in the recovery of the wreckage. Jesse Marcel stated, "It would not burn," regarding the wreckage. "That stuff weighs nothing. It's so thin. It isn't any thicker than tinfoil in a pack of cigarettes. It wouldn't bend. We even tried making a dent in it with a 16-pound sledgehammer, and there was still no dent in it." Jesse Marcel's son, who was 10 years old at the time and witnessed debris from the crash site, reported strange hieroglyphs that were carved into some of the wreckage, and insists that whatever it was he saw on that day, it most certainly was not a weather balloon. To this day, Marcel and many others who was there the day of the incident testify regularly that a UFO of some type crashed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947.